Some big changes in the Maldives. India out is not a campaign slogan anymore. It is now government policy. Last weekend, the Maldives elected a new president. His name is Mohamed Muizzu. Among his many campaign promises was India out, to expel Indian soldiers from the Maldives. Now, as president-elect, he's sticking to that. Listen to Muizzu's latest statement. This is what he said. Those who have deployed troops here would not want to keep them here if we don't want it. The people have decided and don't want Indian troops to stay in the Maldives. Now, I know you have questions, like why does India have soldiers in the Maldives in the first place? And how many soldiers do we have? Don't think of this as some full-fledged operation by India. Reports say just 75 Indian troops are based in the Maldives. And this is not even an official figure, this is an estimate. Their job is to operate aircraft. India has gifted 2 helicopters and 1 Dornier aircraft to the Maldives. The Indian troops fly these machines. Plus, they're building a naval harbor. Maldivian troops will be trained there. Not all of this information is in the public domain, only parts of it has been revealed. The rest is shrouded in secrecy, and that is one reason for all the speculation. But what is the new president's concern? He says India wants a permanent presence in the Maldives, maybe like a base or an outpost. New Delhi has rejected this allegation, but in the Maldives, it's a lightning rod. Muizzu and his party campaigned on this issue. They made India the villain. In that context, his latest announcement is not surprising. It's not unprecedented either. In 2018, something similar happened. Then President Abdullah Yameen asked India to end all military presence, soldiers, helicopters, everything. India out. But in September that year, Yameen was ousted. He lost the presidency to Ibrahim Soli, that's the outgoing president. So from 2018 till now, Soli was the president of the Maldives, and Soli's foreign policy was India first. Now the Maldives has had another election, and this time Yameen was not on the ballot. He was convicted and jailed for corruption, so he could not contest. So his party nominated Muizzu instead, sort of like a proxy candidate. And now Muizzu is repaying the favor. Do you know what's the first thing he did after winning the election? He got Yameen released from jail. The ex-president is now under house arrest. But will he dictate the government from there? That is the question. Will Yameen be the power behind this president? That's the big question here, because Yameen is the brain behind India out. He started that campaign. It's personal and political for him. And how has India reacted to this regime change? Well, publicly, the Indian Prime Minister has congratulated Muizzu. He called for stronger bilateral relations between New Delhi and Male. But privately, India is playing wait and watch. Officials say both sides will have to work with each other. They emphasize that India is not anti-Maldives. Now, we've seen this with many leaders in the past. They campaign with rhetoric. But once in office, they tone it down. They realize that some relations are too important to abandon. Could President-elect Muizzu do the same? I'll tell you why I ask. Muizzu's foreign policy advisor is sending some positive signals. His name is Mohammad Sharif. He's the vice president of Muizzu's party. He's also the former Maldivian envoy to Sri Lanka and Japan. So he's a heavyweight. This advisor has said 3 important things. Number 1, India is the most important stakeholder in the Indian Ocean. Number 2, all the fear-mongering about China is unwarranted, meaning New Delhi doesn't have to worry. He says the Maldives will remain one of India's strongest allies. And point number 3 that he's made, Muizzu will make his first foreign trip to India. And this last point is diplomatic tradition. Every Maldivian president visits India first. Even Yameen, the brain behind India out, did the same. In 2013, Yameen came to New Delhi after taking office. It was his first trip abroad. And looks like Muizzu will continue that trend. And this is indeed a very challenging situation for both sides. India cannot just shut the door on the Maldives, not after investing millions in the country. Similarly, the Maldives cannot shut the door on India. It is the largest neighbor, also the most reliable one. I'm sure Muizzu and company would have seen the events in Sri Lanka. They too trusted China. But in the end, it was India that stood by Colombo. So there is opportunity and risk here. It's an opportunity to show that India is pro-Maldives. It's not pro any particular party. India's commitment is to the people of the Maldives. New Delhi will have to work on this. But it will also have some red lines, lines that the new president-elect must be wary of. And what are India's red lines? Hosting Chinese assets in the Maldives, or strategic agreements, or joint projects like ports, or maybe visiting China first instead of India. Muizzu needs to be mindful of all of this, because now is the time for political maturity on both sides. The elections are done. The campaign rhetoric is behind us. Now it's all about policy. We know Muizzu, the campaigner, was anti-India. The question is, will Muizzu, the president, be the same?